All right, welcome to video 2, Beyond Breaches by Urban Forex. All right, so I can see you're anxious and waiting for, okay, so how do I do this? How do I do this? All right, so this is a fun chapter, no doubt, because this is a lot of fun in doing the research in the mornings when you're waking up and you're like, okay, I want to get going, and I want to do these cheese trades. I want to do it as well as I can, and I want to see how well I can keep my performance up and challenge myself day to day on how much money I can make, but safely. Okay, that's the key. The key is to keep all that money, right? So I'm going to help you on how you can activate that rhythm into your body where you can say, I got this, I got this, I got this. All right, so first things first. Okay, you understood breaches from the last chapters, right? Anything that has a pretty decent size of a holding period, that breaks, okay? Now, adding to that knowledge, I want to take you one step further to that knowledge. It is not just the range that has to break, but it is the session. It is the session. Okay, we're going to add this one layer to it for you to understand. Now, what do you mean by session? Okay, so for stock traders, it is the entire yesterday's market. Okay, it is the entire yesterday's market. So let's say yesterday's market in the stock market, this was the lowest point, this was the highest point. If today the market opens and he's just hanging around in here, there is no activity coming into the market. But if today's market opens around and hangs around and then it does this, and it takes out yesterday, right? You can see that if it takes out yesterday, you now have activity that has activated. Okay? You now have activity that has activated. Same thing with the Forex market is you're dealing with sessions. You have 3 different sessions, so you need to get very good at this. Okay, there are apps out there, there's websites out there that can tell you about what time, what is your local time that London will open, what is your local time that New York will open and Asia opens. We also have an app that I can put the link below this video where you can get our app as well that will alert you when the market's open. And there's tons of websites that will tell you what market's open. So all you need to do is memorize this as much as you can or set it up on your mobile application to alert you that this market is ending, the next market is opening. Okay, so as a rough, quick example, this dotted line I told you before is New York close for me. So New York has closed here, and the next day New York closes here as well. But for me, when in the Forex market, when New York closes, Asia opens, and Asia goes all the way up until Frankfurt and London. Okay, so here we have London opening hours. Okay, so you can see this is the highest point of Asia. This is the lowest point of Asia. You can see when London opened, London was not able to take out the low of Asia. Okay, you can see that low of Asia was holding. This whole range is holding. And then at 1800 hours, more or less, New York opens. So on this candle, New York opens for me. Okay? And New York opens and they try to go take out the high of Asia. They try to go take out the high of Asia. For London and New York, I'm trying to compete with Asia. I'm looking at multiple things. What is the high and low of yesterday? And what is the session high and low of my previous session? These are the things I'm really focused on because once I'm breaking a session, I want to know that, there is power into this. There is power into this. There is movement. There is activity. Okay? Because without activity, I cannot buy and sell properly. Right? So let's say, for example, why this is so important. Let's say, okay, again, going to a simple concept of you buy a house. Okay? Now, wherever you're living in, whatever city you're living in, or whatever town you're living in, there might be a house that might be worth $300,000 or $3 million, for example. Okay? You buy that house, and immediately, if you want to sell it, there will be someone willing to buy it and saying, okay, I'll take it for 2.9, or I'll take it for 3.1. there'll be someone willing to buy it at a price slightly up or down, right? Because you can resell it because there's people willing to buy and sell. It's busy. What if it's not busy? What if you buy a property all the way down in the Maldives where it's on one island and you have one house there and you bought it at $100,000 thinking it's such a good rate, you bought it, but because there is no activity, even if the property value has gone up to $500,000, you can't get rid of it. No one's willing to buy it because there's no one there. Okay? Same concepts apply to trading as well. You need that activity for you to get in and out of the market. No activity means two things. The markets are slow, and another thing is the big boy is not around. Because he's the only one, they are the only one who have the money and the power to influence the markets, to have the market go in a certain direction. Okay? All right. So, once again, as a quick recap, what we're doing, let me take you to a day just prior to this. So I'll give you the example there. So this is New York closed right here. So yesterday, New York, here's 1800 hours for me. This is local Dubai time. That was the high of New York. This is the low of New York. And then it came up to here and it closed. Then Asia opened. Asia opens right up to London right here. Now, this is London high. Sorry, this is Asia high. This is Asia low. Notice how they couldn't take out New York of yesterday. They couldn't do anything, right? So if I draw it like this, the market's open and they've been hanging around. Nothing happened. Okay? Then London opens and London takes out the low point of Asia. We got some activity coming into the market. Here we go. We got some activity coming into the market. These type of trades are what we trade now. Okay, this is a cheese trade right here. Once you get a pullback into that, you're going to ride that momentum further. Okay, you're going to ride that momentum further. The more the breaks, the stronger the market. Remember that. Okay, the more the breaks, the stronger the market. So, having that said, later on to that day, here is the London high. Okay, going forward, New York opens up as well. Okay. Here is the low of London and New York down here. And that was the high of New York is here. High of London was there. Notice how next day when Asia opens, look at that. Asia takes it out. That means Asia is starting to move. Once that movement happens, we want to ride these rhythms to see, can we get onto some cheese trades from here on out. Okay? And they'll give you some nice, decent moves where you can be able to get in and get out at a very consistent rate. Very consistent rate. All right. So this is just an understanding on how you want to use your breaches, because this movement has caused a slowdown into the market. And when Asia opened, they broke that. They breached it. So now it's breach plus power. So what you're looking for in the market is there power, which means is there a session break? Okay, so that's the terminology you'll hear me use throughout the course. Not only must it do a breach, but it also must have power. Okay, it also must have power. All right, let's proceed on to the next video.